another aspect of the critical social theories I want to make sure we hit on is critical religion theory. Now, I know, Monique, you've been doing some reading since the start of the war on critical Muslim theory, watching some videos. Neil, I'm wondering if you ever heard of this, and, how does this fit into the broader discussion of the critical social theories?
I have not heard of it. There are a whole host of critical social theories. I think there's critical animal theory. It deals with pressing animal speciesism.
Yep.
Yeah, no, there is. Monique, I have never read it myself. I saw like a title of a paper, but yeah, you can attach it's the same lens. Same lens is always oppressors and oppressed, and they're oppressing through hegemonic power. And in the animal theory, I think it's that humans have the speciesist view that we're superior beings, and we then devalue animals, and we didn't see each other actually as equals. But yeah, so I can probably guess what critical Muslim theory is, but I'm sure Monique could give you more information than I can.
Yeah, critical Muslim theory really looks at the oppression of Muslims around the globe, and not all critical theorists or critical race theorists would think the same things and uphold all of the same tenets, but it looks at how are Muslims being oppressed. And so when we think of the Palestinian situation, they are, being oppressed by the Jews. But you can also look at the wording that's been used since October 7th, that Palestine is like this open jail. Because open prison, because, it's closed in on all sides with, closed borders and things like that. And so, what is it that keeps Muslims oppressed, but not simply, the Palestinian Muslims, but Muslims in any country. But I specifically see this theory playing out in looking at Muslims being an oppressed group and how do we free this specific religion. I've also seen a lot more conversation on Christianity actually being an oppressor group. And because Christianity has been oppressive to Jews then it's kind of like the domino falling. If one oppresses the other, then the other must oppress someone else.
And it is true. There is a truth historically that Christians have engaged in persecution of Jewish people. I mean, that's and that some Jews fled to the Middle East for safe harbor. That was actually a more peaceful place for them to live. Now, they had to pay a special tax living in a Muslim country, but they didn't have to worry about the level of persecution that they faced in Europe. And so there is a historical reality to our rough history between Christians and Jews. However, I will say that many Christians today, evangelicals in particular, are very supportive of Jewish people because of seeing what they went through with the Holocaust, and the example of people like Corrie ten Boom, who I think, we would be remiss in not saying that there does seem to have been some shifts with that, of being more sympathetic to Jewish people. So like Neil said, history is messy. You cannot fit it into these very sharp binary ways of thinking. But Christianity, the truth is that Christianity has engaged in a level of persecution, historically speaking, with Jewish people. So
you see this all the time within the critical tradition. You see this, you take a historical injustice. Say, wasn't that awful? Yeah, it was. Okay, well, we still had that exact same thing today. Like, well, no, we don't. It's changed. So, but they'll say things like, blacks were oppressed under slavery. 100% yes. And then, well, see, that's not really changed at all today. No, that's not at all true. They will make this transition as if nothing has changed in the last 200 years. That's just not true. I mean, Eduardo Bonilla Silva, in his book, Racism Not Racist, says that we have in place today a social system that is just as effective at keeping blacks as an underclass as the laws under Jim Crow. He says that in his book, Racism Not Racist, that we have mechanisms today that are just as effective, I think it's a direct quote, as the laws under Jim Crow. And I'm like, No, we're not living in 1950s Alabama anymore. I'm not saying we're perfect. There's no injustice. I'm just saying that you can't claim that there's been no progress at all. In the same way, did Christians oppress and persecute Jews in the 16th, 17th? Yes, of course they did. Does that follow that all Christians today are doing the same things? No, it does not at all follow. And so I think we can concede point A while completely rejecting point B. They're the ones who are conflating the two different circumstances. And we have to draw a line and say, no, you can't equate 2023 in the US to 17th century Russia, for example. There are pogroms going on. They're not the same situation.